What's up everyone, Tech Geek Josh here bringing you guys the review of the ZTE Warp 7. The Warp 7 has a 5.5 inch scratch resistant Corning Gorilla Glass 3 display that has a resolution of 720 this way by 1280 that way and a pixel density of 267, which is not bad considering a phone that's this size. In terms of cameras, the ZTE Warp 7 has a 13 megapixel rear camera that has a number of features such as touch to focus, smile and face detection, self-timer, digital zoom, and geotagging. Whereas camera settings include exposure compensation, ISO control, and white balance presets, with shooting modes that include HDR and panorama. And on the front it has a 5 megapixel camera right there. It's not too good for a phone like this, but what do you expect? This phone was only $50, at least that's what I paid for it. So 5 megapixels equals a somewhat decent camera for this thing. Hardware wise, the Warp 7 runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 chipset clocked at 1.2 gigahertz with a Cortex A53 64-bit CPU, an Adreno 306 GPU, my mistake, and 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now for some odd reason I am not able to run a Quadrant, as you can see right here. Like, it'll open the app up just fine and it'll run just fine, but at the end when I try to submit the results, it won't go through. It says there's a network error when clearly I'm connected to my Wi-Fi. So I'll show you once it has finished. So Quadrant has finished, and when I press yes to send the results, it'll take its time like so, and then it'll give me an error that says network connection failed. And I don't really know why when, like I just mentioned, it's connected to my network. Does it have to be activated in order for us to do this test or what? I have no clue. As for Geekbench 4, I will go ahead and see if it's able to run this, and I will be back shortly. So Geekbench has just finished, and for the single core score we got a score of 511, not too shabby. As for the multi-core we get a score of 1,325. So we're not on the board with this one, but that's still a very respectable score for a Snapdragon 410. No other phone with that chipset would probably run this. It would probably run much lower than this. So overall, not a bad score one bit. The Warp 7 comes with 16 gigabytes of built-in storage with around 10.22 gigabytes available to the user, with an option to further expand storage via the microSD card slot found on the back. The Warp 7 can support up to a 64 gigabyte micro SD card. Powering the Warp 7 is a user removable 3080 mAh Li-on battery that has a talk time of 26 hours and an overall usage time of about 5 or so hours, even though I cannot tell you exactly how long it lasts because, well, I just bought this device and I haven't really put it to the test yet, but I'm assuming you can get at least 5 or so hours out of this battery. And as you can see, the battery is very, very huge, so that's also a good thing. Alright, now let's move on to the final section of this review, and it's usually the longest: gaming. So naturally I have downloaded Asphalt Nitro, so let's go ahead and see how this device runs. Let's just go ahead and say allow. No, I don't want Google Play Games. I won't be keeping this game. And I will return once it has finished loading, which shouldn't be, well, I take that back. It's already loaded. Awesome. Input my age really quick. Let's go ahead and turn down the volume just in case. Just say no to everything here. Usual stupid ads on that screen. As I'm navigating through here, be sure to let me know down below if you guys want me to compare this thing to any phone that I have, because that will happen if you guys want me to compare this thing. I was thinking the first comparison that I would do of this thing is the Warp 7 versus the Huawei Ascend XT, but I won't do any comparisons unless you guys want to see this thing compared. If not, that's all good. It doesn't matter. And I still have the stock screen protector, so it might appear dirty in quite a few places. So, just so you know. Looks like I'll have to stop it right here because it's taking its sweet little time. Okay, we got the game loaded up here, so let me go ahead and pick it up and see if I can stay in screen this time. The volume turned down. So just driving here, you can see really enjoyable, no frame droppage. It's very hard to keep a device in screen when you're doing a video like this, so I do realize that I'm probably going to be all around and not centered in the screen like I'm supposed to be. You didn't correctly hit it. Not that again, no. I'm such a bad driver at this game, probably because I have to keep it within a certain range. Pretty sure if I was not recording, I'd do much better and drive much better. Oh, a little lag there. Overall drifting, as you can see here, not a problem. But you do notice every so often some frame drop. Don't know how well you can tell on camera, but I certainly see a little bit of frame droppage. But that's because this thing has the Snapdragon 410. I slam into a freaking guardrail. And another one. So I came in third. Not too bad. And going back home, very nice and fast, fluid, thanks to that 2 gigs of RAM and that Snapdragon 410 processor. As you can see, very buttery smooth, if I don't touch the stupid app. Very buttery smooth overall. Very nice and enjoyable. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of the ZTE Warp 7. Like I mentioned, be sure to let me know down below if you guys want me to compare this thing, and if so, what devices do you want to see, or what other device do you want to see? Be sure to let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one.